Welcome, everybody, to episode 70 of PT Shop Talk. On today's episode, we have a friend of the show, Ryan Zink, to kind of talk about some of his recent adventures, update us on what's going on in his life, and we finish up with our top 5 scariest movie villains. I'm Casey Adson. With me is Nick, John Carpenter's The Doling, and Jeremy, the Wicked Witch of the Northern Peninsula, Van Klompenberg. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome, Ryan.
He used the wrong nomenclature. It's the Upper Peninsula.
What did I say?
UP.
Didn't I say Upper Peninsula?
You said Northern Peninsula.
No. Is that true? I'll play it back.
Play it back.
To run it back.
I don't have that kind of technology. I don't have a producer.
Was I not the only one that caught that? Now you guys are going to try to gaslight me, make me seem like I was crazy.
I'm out here in the States. I'm not on a peninsula. I got nothing.
No, you're landlocked.
Yeah, ain't no water. Ain't no water to peninsula.
Welcome back, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Lots of new stuff to tackle. Since the last time we spoke, was that like a year ago? Was that just about maybe more?
Thereabouts, yeah.
A couple episodes ago, as they say in the podcast game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A season ago.
Since then,
I saw Casey, it was weekend of the Red Hot Chili Peppers concert.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah.
That was a while ago.
Yeah.
So that's bad.
Hey,
6 months.
When your bassist is like 60 years old and he opens the concert with a handstand walking across the stage,
he's talented.
Pretty fantastic. He is.
Lifelong
he still got it.
He still got it. Yeah, he's got the chops. Yeah. Lifelong fitness enthusiast. He could be working out at your new gym. Which
there you go. When Flea finds himself in rural North Dakota, I'll welcome him in. Yeah.
Hey, if I was traveling through, it's the only place I'd stop to get a pump.
Oh. Good plug.
Yep.
There you go.
We'll get it.
Cool, buddy. See.
Then you got to paint him on a mural on the wall. I believe that's how gyms always do that. Look who's been here.
You're talking about Nick, correct? Not
Flea. No, I assume he's already on the wall.
Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah, the first painting, I assume.
Is that in the initial layout, the build-up plans?
Had to bring a couple of them first graders in to paint a mural for you.
There you go.
They love that stuff.
I'll become a silent donor down the road and then just expect a statue somewhere.
Are you a silent donor if you demand a statue of you?
All right. Well, ask Danny Sanford.
I believe you're a loud donor at that point. Maybe the loudest of donors.
I'm gonna humbly give you $400 million and make sure it ends up in every paper in South Dakota.
Yeah.
You change.
Make sure everybody sees my face.
And put a bronze statue of me with children sitting on my lap.
Yep. If you want to change the name of your entire business to my last name,
I won't argue.
Down at Dolings.
You can do that, Sioux Valley. Yep. That's old school, though. That's a little inside baseball for anybody who's from the eastern South Dakota area back in the day.
Little East River reference.
East River, yes, as my wife would proudly proclaim. Yeah. Well, Mr. Hansen, do you have the tunes queued up?
You want to cue us up? We'll do a little quick little this and that, loosen you up, Ryan. We'll get going. Let me hit some tunes here first. I'll probably have to edit some volume because it's always super loud whenever I do this.
I feel much better about this week's this or that than I did last week.
I liked last week's.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah. Oh,
I got caught off guard. You snuck that in at the top. I missed that, so I'm going on the fly. So
what?
Yeah.
All right. That's all right.
Yeah.
And these are not prompted. I'm not privy to any of this. So
no. Thank you for telling our listeners that you do not have any advanced knowledge whatsoever of what's coming your way.
You got that background noise? You guys hear that all right?
Yeah.
A little tension. Let me make sure it's on.
A little tension.
We're good. Just a little tension. Jeremy, I assume you want to go last. Good time to make some questions up.
Oh, we're good. All
right. Well, I'll start it off. Nick, Jeremy, you guys want to go that way?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Better movie dad, Bill Cosby from Ghost Dad or Robin Williams from Mrs. Doubtfire?
Robin Williams.
You kind of have to nowadays. I mean,
Yeah.
talk
no.
about.
Well,
Didn't
you
we
know,
already talk about
Like
getting
Bill
canceled?
Cosby, little rapey in real life, obviously, but like Robin Williams and Mrs. Doubtfire are kind of psycho with the movie, right?
Digging into that one a lot.
Yeah.
We might have to we might have to turn the tunes down a little bit. They're
do
kind of blasting right now.
Yeah.
Anybody else feel
It's a
that?
vibe.
I feel like I'm clubbing.
Yeah.
Fine.
Got the glow
It's down,
sticks.
it's down.
Just
All right,
kill.
Nick, what do you got?
All right. Better pickled food to eat. Is it pickled eggs or pickled herring?
Oh god. I'm gonna go with the herring just to watch my kids' expression on their face.
Yeah.
Correct answer.
I mean,
That
it's a
is
toss
correct.
up. So.
It wasn't bad. I mean, I've had it. It wasn't too bad.
Better,
Snacks is.
Your snacks terrible.
Those were good, dude. You missed
Were
it
they?
out.
Not
Yeah,
the
they
same
were good.
thing.
good.
Not the same thing at all. Better weightlifting gear, Rogue or Lyco?
Oh. Rapid fire Rogue. Just because that's
Alright.
what we currently have. I don't have currently have the
And
other
you
ones,
only
so-
have the best there.
Yeah.
Only
Wow.
the best. Essential City.
Wow.
Sponsorship opportunity.
Obviously.
Just
There
saying.
you go.
CC Dub.
Better summer headwear, visor or bucket hat?
Ooh. I'm gonna go visor.
Yeah, and you're allowed to wear that any way you want. I won't judge.
Okay, I like it.
All right.
On the golf course, any which way.
Preferably backwards and upside down, but all
Backwards upside down.
Rally cap.
You still have enough hair. We could frost them tips.
Oh, yeah,
Come on through.
spike them up just a little bit.
Not
the
for
top.
much longer.
Comes with a Sugar Ray compact disc. All right. Better Olympic lift. Cleans or snatches?
I'm gonna go with clean, just because it's easier to coach, and there's less fear in the athletes.
All right. Good rationale.
Just
too.
for simplicity.
Right. Expertise.
Better movie genre, horror or anything else?
I'm gonna go with B. With anything else?
All right.
It's me and
That's
you
fine.
on this episode.
I'll always take the field when it comes to a bet. I get it.
Yeah.
It's the field. Yeah, definitely.
More disgusting food as an adult, cotton candy or circus peanuts?
Ooh. Circus peanuts.
That's such the right
Cotton
answer.
candy is
Okay.
still fun.
All right. I feel like I need to do two now because more disgusting food to eat as an adult: cotton candy or Peeps.
Or what?
Peeps.
Oh, Peeps? Oh, Peeps. Yeah.
Yeah. Atta
No,
boy.
thank you. Peeps is right up there with like candy corn.
Yeah, that's
What?
terrible.
Trash.
You guys,
That's
why do
the-
you guys hate on candy corn?
It's not candy or corn. There's nothing good
That's-
about it.
Talk amongst yourself. Peeps.
The-
Yeah, candy corn with little peanuts in there.
all right, better
Go ahead.
better entertainment choice, concert or a game?
Oh, boy. I'm gonna go game. Game.
Cool, because that's a
For-
good
for-
question.
for no-
You're like,
No
you can't
particular
go
reason.
wrong.
You guys want to do one more? Got one more in you?
I got
one more to
two
thank Nick? So-
more.
Ooh,
I-
two more. I can do two more.
Yeah.
Better condiments, horseradish or sauerkraut?
Ranch.
Not a choice.
Oh, no.
Not a choice. I'm
Say
gonna
those
go
again.
kraut.
Horseradish or what?
Sauerkraut.
Kraut. Yeah.
You take the
I
crowd
had,
over
I,
the.
had a, I had a Reuben today, and I'm still like, have a little food high from that.
Rubens
Still
are-
really happy with
And
that.
I had a good one
Reuben
this
is-
weekend too. Randy's Diner in Fargo. They made a good Reuben.
Randy's, huh?
They're still
I've
kicking.
been there a long time ago. All right.
Hung
Nice
over, I
place.
assume.
And your gut microbiome appreciates that sauerkraut.
It sure
Mhm.
does. It sure does.
Happy
Probably
go.
not so much the corned beef and rye.
All right. I'm not going to say we're going to settle this once and for all, but I need some I need some real unbiased take on this. If you yourself were a child and you were abducted, which movie film father would you rather have come and save the day? Would you rather have Arnold Schwarzenegger from Commando or Liam Neeson in Taken?
That is tough. I'm gonna go with Arnold because I was a child then, and Liam came along later when I was an adult. So
Right. I mean,
yeah,
and he,
I gotta go with Arnold.
I'm a broken freaking record here, but he was one and done. He didn't,
Yeah.
he didn't need sequels. So good.
Better college football coach, Deion Sanders or Nick Saban?
Oh yikes!
Gosh.
I gotta go Saban. He's got a little more tradition, a little more history there.
Just a little.
All right.
few-
well,
a
I'm
few more
keeping
wins under his
receipts.
belt. I
I'm
love
keeping
Deion,
receipts. So
I hate to say it. I'm a Rams guy, so it pains me to
I
admit
know.
that
I
he
know.
is doing very well.
I was going to ask you your favorite Colorado team, and that was, I don't know, but
Kind of
for
a
another
given.
day.
Now you know.
For another day.
All right, last one, gents.
Okay.
Closer to a hair band, Guns N' Roses or Van Halen?
Cool. I'm gonna go GNR just because I enjoy them more.
Great,
Interesting
great
rationale.
segue. Better music genre to just listen to and enjoy. Hip hop or hair metal?
I'm gonna go metal. Yeah.
Suck it, Jeremy.
And,
Apparently, you've never enjoyed a
It sounds like
barbecue in
there's
the
side
summer
bets
with
going on.
45 of your cousins and the sweetest
That's-
gin and juice you've ever had.
That's true. That's true. All right. Well, I think I know the answer to this, given your recent entrepreneurial adventure. But regret or doubt? What do you choose in life? Regret or doubt?
Is neither an option?
Nope.
Badass.
No. I'm
No
trying to give
regrets.
off no regret. I'm trying to give off those Dion vibes.
Yeah, all right. All right.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, that finished
Yeah.
it up. Well done. Well done. Questionable.
good.
Pass fail.
Rather have
Tight.
Arnold Schwarzenegger in
Yes.
Commando as your dad or Robin Williams in Mrs. Doubtfire as your dad?
Oh my God. You can't be real.
I'll take Arnold as the
This
dad,
is
and I'll
not fair.
take Robin Williams as my mom.
And they're eating up.
Okay, perfect
See,
family.
I don't live in an either or world. I'll just do both.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's so much gray.
I mean, think how often you could come home and he'd just be like, "Hello." That would never get old. That'd never get old.
No.
Yeah, no, never.
Or,
I
like
I-
John Matrix is like, "Oh, I got to go to the gym. Sorry. Have fun
I'd
with
go
your
with him.
homework."
I would, you know how
Yeah.
jacked I'd be if he was my dad?
I feel like he just wants to work out alone and eat ice cream with you later.
No,
in
no,
a
no.
loving scene.
That was because she was his daughter. He still taught her martial arts in the opening credits. I pointed that out.
Not good enough.
She was so little. What did you expect?
apparently.
Well, you got to be quick with your fists.
She had other green
Jibs,
berets.
jabs.
Other green berets like kidnapping her.
Well, yeah, maybe
We should do.
better dad.
We're gonna. I think
You
we're gonna have to do
practice,
a
so.
watch along to that movie.
I think
at some
so.
point.
I think you need to change my mind with a watch
Narrate
along.
it. Figure out how we do that on here. I'm sure we can.
Oh yeah.
Find a way.
Legally, it's going to be hard, but illegally, quite easily.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, let's get to the main event.
Yeah, I'll let you kick it off, Nick. I'll let you
Main
lead.
topic. Yeah. So Ryan, I had the pleasure of being up in Carrington back in July. Kind of had a soft opening for the new gym. Gonna give you a second to plug it here, what it's called, where it's at, stuff like that. But really, what really sparked the fire in you to open this gym? And a fairly rural area community that was already, you could argue, was already served, with the presence of a fairly large, I'd say, big box gym that was going on. Can you just walk us through like the brainstorming that went along with this?
So we actually attempted to buy the other one,
Okay.
and when that didn't happen, we kind of went, oh shoot. And as we're sitting around, within about 5 minutes, somebody said, we should just start our own.
Uh,
And within 24 hours, the ball was rolling. So we
it
did.
was like it was like just like, hey, what if we did this?
It was that fast. We plan A was to buy the existing gym, new building, kind of plug and play, ready to go.
Mhm.
Right. And it was funny how fast we pivoted and went, well, that didn't work out. I guess we're on plan B.
Well, how far down the road did you get with the other gym? We'll kind of leave the owner out of this, kind of leave all that stuff out, politics aside. But were you to the point of like sharing valuations, and was the figure just like you guys were just too far off?
Yeah. Yep. We had looked at a lot of the numbers and what we were willing to pay and what the bank was willing to lend on and what he was willing to do. It just wasn't vibing, so didn't happen.
Gotcha.
Which turned out to be a blessing. We had more challenges and more things. You put a new business in an old building. It's over 100 years old and rural Carrington. So it was interesting.
Unique.
We funny story. We announced the grand opening day 7 days in advance, right? All over social media. It's a big to do, and the comment was, "Burn the ships, boys. There's no turning back.
Yeah.
Like we're committed, right? So burn the ships. Burn the ship. Yep.
Love it.
That's
Burn the ships.
That's 7 days out. 6 days out, our air conditioner was leaking and the sewer in the basement backed up. And we went, huh? We have some things to deal with quick. I mean, like equipment's set up, it's shiny and new, and it looks great.
Yeah, it does look
and
great.
The plumber on a holiday weekend, nonetheless, kind of saved my hide. So, yeah. It makes it exciting. All the things of how do we service our members and what equipment should we get and this and that, and it's getting crunch time and we're dealing with the sewer. So
Yeah.
interesting.
I'm going to share with Jeremy would know where I'm coming from with this one from like some past experiences and stuff. But when I was up there for kind of this soft opening last weekend in July, I think it was, you were gracious enough to kind of welcome me in, let me get a workout in, myself and Michelle. And that was really awesome. Really appreciated that. You're right. The layout. I love the layout. I think I told you that. I love that you did a great melding of like combination of a good choice of equipment, good volume of equipment while still keeping a fairly open floor plan to allow for more functional stuff kind of in that central area. But when I was there, was it an electrician or a plumber that was there on a Saturday? And I remember
probably the plumber.
Yeah, we had the talk, and I'm like, man, like you said something that hit so home with me running a practice, and it was like the last thing you want to see when you walk in, probably any day, but let's say it's a Saturday. It's like there's a plumber here, because that means somebody called them, something ain't working right. So I'm just thinking, man, here it is, like soft opening, not even grand opening, and there's already stuff, right? That's part of being an owner, right?
Yeah.
Walk in and own your business, and ice skating uphill some days.
I'm glad you like the layout. And it's funny, we joked we're not on plan B anymore. We pivot, we're on plan LMNOP. You talk to the plumber and initially we're going to build the bathrooms here and we're going to do this and then lay out like that. And we're on plan QRST because things changed, and you know what? It's for the better. I actually like it more now. We have space for lunges and warm up and all the good things. We have space to grow, room for more equipment, and so it turned out a little stressful at times. I did some of the construction myself, and there were some late nights, right? Working my 9 to 5 job and then working evenings and weekends there, getting it ready. And at one point, I just kind of tossed the tape measure and went, I've had enough. I'm out of here. So now whenever things get tough, the joke is that the throw the tape measure moment? Like, just kind of like, okay, no more, no mas.
But that had to have been like hearing you walk it back. I mean, were you just give us a timeline on that. Like how long ago was that in the past, and for how long of a stretch of time?
So it was actually rented out for storage, and they had to the end of April to get their stuff out. And I said, hey, maybe we should make a phone call. If we help them get their stuff out, maybe we don't have to wait until May 1st. So we actually got about a 2-week head start on construction, which was nice. So from
mid-April.
Yeah, from mid-April to actually it was July 5th we opened, because we were in the 4th of July parade saying grand opening tomorrow. So that was our time frame, and we took a building that was over 100 years old and used for storage, and you know, just
That's
old.
a house of pain.
That's right. So we we have some new walls, and it looks nice, and then we kept the old. We have this old like lath and plaster wall with some holes in it, and it's like, you know what? We have an old building. We're just gonna kind of own it. We're gonna slap some paint on there, and we're gonna leave it. And we kind of paid homage to the some of the tradition. We're still trying to get a picture from like the museum, get one big enough, and get it framed up like a black and white of old, Main Street, with the old cars from the 50s and the hustle and bustle, Yeah.
Dude, that's cool. Those ceilings are legit. They're like I can't think of the terminology for those old school, like old drugstore, Main Street drugstore type of ceiling, but
forever tall. And then it's the metal panels with the designs and stuff.
Like stamp and
like a pressed tin.
Yeah,
there you go.
Exactly, pressed in. Yeah,
those are sweet. I dig those.
It's a cool look. And to Jeremy's point, it's cool because you had like every right to go, but you could have gone like ultra niche and like meathead savvy. I won't name drop any other ones, but like out of respect, but like you didn't go that way.
Right.
Your guys' vision was more inclusive than that. More, I look at your brand, the wellness component to it. I'm assuming that was intentional. Is that kind of like just trying to keep it as broad as you could?
Absolutely. So my IT coordinator, Gabby, there has also done a lot for marketing.
Yeah.
And I mean, the logo, it was like first draft, loved it. We all went, yep. And so the market that we're trying to reach out to, it's got to be inclusive. It's got to be because in a small town, you have to appeal to as many people as you can, right? So we don't have to compete with multiple gyms in the big town, but we still have to provide a really good service, because in the medical field, if you have to go, you have to go, and not everybody is crazy like me and enjoys it. Like I lift heavy things for fun, and a lot of people think of like as a chore. So if they're gonna hand over their dollars and then to do this chore that they may or may not enjoy, like it's up to me to make that experience enjoyable. And make them feel welcome and comfortable and find out what they like. So sometimes I feel like a broken record, but I could write the greatest program in the world. But if you can't do this exercise properly and you don't fit in that machine and your shoulder hurts when you do that, like if you don't do that program, it's worthless. So you have to find what you like and what motivates you and keeps you coming back.
We'll stick with it.
The classic Tom Sawyer fence painting trick. Got him.
Got him.
Well, that was
the other running joke is between the 4 TVs, Bob Ross is on one of them at all times.
So calming.
And we've only got positive feedback. People are absolutely loving it. It's like, well, guess what? We're just gonna keep going with the Bob Ross.
Keep that heart rate down. Keep that heart rate down.
You got to relax. Mindfulness, meditation.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're marketing your commercial gym, you need to get some Bob Ross in your life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Plus, you can learn to paint that mural by watching that every day. I think all the trees are going to look around Nick Doling.
I'll send you some pics.
So good.
I prefer more of a profile view, and go that way. But
it's understandable.
I mean, it's your gym, but I'm just trying to give you advice.
Tell you how to do your job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's. Go ahead. Somebody.
Oh, and I was gonna say you have to forgive me, I'm kind of all over the place because there's a million details
Oh, I bet.
after the construction, after the equipment, procurement, after
Mhm.
and then all the different personalities of all the different members and just all the details. It's yeah, a lot.
Like I was gonna say earlier though, when you were laying that out and you're like, yeah, I'm working the the 9 to 5 job, the main gig at the time, and then you know putting in those late hours. But that was that like were you like on a natural high at all, just knowing, hey, this is what it's gonna be, right? And it's gonna be something you can say you own. Was
Right.
that where you were at, or were you just kind of just lost in the moment?
Uh, a little bit about like for a while there, we're kind of lost in the moment, and it was surreal because it was this thing we were gonna do, and it was
Uh-huh.
out there. And then as it came together, and as our opening date got closer, it
Just on you.
was yeah. And it's one thing to work overtime for somebody else, but when it's your baby, when it's your project, and it's not just something I'm doing for some side cash, it's like something I really enjoy. Um, it's easier to uh, be up there at 2 in the morning laying the bathroom floor because the plumber called you last minute and said, "Hey, we could go do all this work if you're ready for us tomorrow." So we made darn sure it was ready, and yeah, it's easier to do when you love it
Yeah.
and it's your own.
That's real.
Yeah.
Yep, passion is invaluable.
It's amazing. Yeah, exactly.
not-
When you were setting it up and had this idea, like Nick talked about layout and equipment and all that, did you have a pulse on the community, or were you like, I think I know what the people want and I'll convince them that what we did is awesome? Or did you actually go out and like talk to people and like, hey, what do you guys think? I've had this idea. I know you turned it around pretty quick. So
Right.
maybe there probably wasn't a ton of that like pre-planning, but
I value their opinion, but it would get we had to come to the conclusion you can't please everybody. It's not going to be perfect
It's
for
true.
everyone.
It's true.
So we, and then also remind yourself this isn't my gym. It's not going to be a dusty powerlifting gym. So from the perspective of I'm going to serve the community, but I'm also going to do what I think is right.
yeah.
And then if it's not perfect in the orientation, when you're showing them, oh, this is the equipment and this is how you use it, and you kind of sell it as the for example, we don't have a very good back door to our gym, and I sell
don't
it
either.
as
I get it.
right. I mean, you got to sell it as we got to get big equipment in here, so we need a big opening, and I haven't figured out how to finish it off and make it look pretty, and people don't care
Yeah.
because the gym is clean and the equipment functions. Nobody cares about the back door. But there's just certain things that you kind of the way you approach it and take a positive spin to, an unfinished part of the gym. Just
Yeah.
but then if
Your mindset
if
matters so much on that.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if the service is good and the equipment works and things are clean and people feel welcomed, nobody cares about the back door. So
yeah, no, I think that's cool because if I made my gym, like nobody would come. So I get it. Like what a struggle, especially I'd imagine in a small town. In Fargo, you can probably get away with niche if you live the niche and have a passion for the niche.
Yeah.
But a small town, I mean, boy, if you only have 5-6 people that want to come because they're your niche, that's a struggle for sure.
It's hard to keep the lights on when you've
exactly.
got six hardcore guys.
Yeah, right.
And Ryan, you said something that really struck a chord with me listening to I was listening to a podcast where Stan Efferding was a guest on there recently, and really good podcast, Modern Wisdom. So it's called. And so anybody who doesn't know Stan Efferding, he's like his nickname is Rhino. He's been pretty preeminent power lifter, bodybuilder, and then bodybuilder, power lifter, then bodybuilder, health coach, created the vertical diet. Really, really sharp guy. And what he talked about is something that caught my attention listening to it, and then hearing you say it again too. Like when you live this lifestyle, and I'm not saying we're all like gym bros, right? But we've talked on this pod before, right? We've lifted weights, we've been familiar with it for like 25 plus years, right? it's like to some of us, it just gets in your blood. You love it. You love to train. You love that grind. With that being said, it's so easy to forget that a lot of people don't. And
Yeah.
and
It's
they're
a
viewing
Most.
it,
Most.
most, and they're like, it's crazy. But that's a great example of something where I got to remove myself from my own psyche and like see that externally, because I'm completely the opposite. Like I get really bitchy and grouchy if I miss like if I have like 2 rest days in a row, I'm like just pissy. I feel like I'm miserable. I'm like a grouchy butthole.
Same. I can make it to
Um,
3, and then Gabby kicks me out
and I'm like,
to go
I
work.
need
Get out of here and go work out.
it's like I need it. I'm like wired that way hormonally, I think. Like my body's just used to these type of rhythms, you know? So it's awesome to hear you say that too. Like you recognize, because I'm thinking down here in Marshall, we have a pretty elite powerlifting gym. I'll name it our Jackal Gym, cool branding, some
Yeah.
badass dudes.
Really
But
badass. Yeah.
but you talk about like so much confusion. Like there's adult men that I've talked to, teenage guys that they don't even know if they're allowed in. Right? They're like, I don't even know. I don't like if I got a sneaky if I got to
Special club.
get like a card, get some type of super membership to be even there. And it's so intimidating because these guys are pretty badass dudes, like Brad Gillingham, former multiple time world champion powerlifter, and just a massive man.
Big
Um,
dude.
but that's the risk you run if you go ultra niche in a certain community, right? If you go ultra holistic, it's going to be the same way. If you're like, well, we're going to be, I don't know, I won't go that way, but that's another opposite, because I think people are like, well, why the hell would I go, right? Like there's a small subset that's going to be like, yeah, I love that you accept me for me and I can just come in and do whatever I want and blah blah blah. But there's got to be some melding of it all in the middle, right? Some melting pot that's going to be successful. Maybe I'm off. I don't know.
It's funny you say that, because there's a mutual friend of Nick and I's who's clanging and banging and is animated. He puts his headphones in and he really gets after it, and he's a little noisier. And when anybody, you know what I'm talking about, I love him to
Yeah.
death.
Yep.
Whenever anybody like catches their attention and they snap their head around like, oh, they get startled, right? And it's like, you know, he's big and he might look intimidating, but he's like the nicest guy in the world. And if you ever
Mhm.
need help in this gym, he'll be the first one to do it.
Yeah. Yep.
So if the soccer mom or little old lady doesn't approve of whatever, it's how you approach it. It's how you sell it, and just yep, it's just him. He's kind of got a big personality and he's got a giant heart. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
It's like
being in a small community, maybe this isn't as big a concern. You guys got dress code over there? Because man, I gotta tell you, these gyms in Fargo, I wonder if there is one.
well, what are you
It
seeing?
is.
Hold on, before Ryan answers, what are you seeing?
Everything. Too much, if I'm gonna be honest.
Really?
Yeah, it's wild. What folks wear to the gym.
Regardless of gender?
Yeah, regardless of gender. I mean, you've always had the cutoff dude shirts, where you're like seeing their nipples all over. I mean, it is what it is. But like, I mean, we're pretty much to the point where, again, I work out at NDSU. It's pretty much just like underwear. That's all anybody wears to the gym. So I'm just curious, like
Shorty
you ever have
shorts.
those issues in a small town where people are like, boy, you need to talk to that person. They're dressing pretty risque at the gym.
Not so much. I think here everybody's pretty modest. Of course, the teenage boys, I tell them to leave their shirt on.
Okay.
I said I do the whole like when you bench 400, you can take your shirt off.
Okay.
Right. And it just kind of joke with them, like, but until then, you gotta leave your shirt on, dude.
Yeah.
And then I think most of the women are pretty modest. Like you get yoga pants, which is standard.
Yeah.
It's whatever. No, not a big deal. So it hasn't been an issue yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep an eye
Casey's
out.
just surrounded by
Casey's-
Gym Shark influencers.
Yeah,
out
don't
there.
mind. I probably won't be coming to your gym. It sounds like not my scene.
sounds pretty boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
boring?
probably the other question you on that same vein of where we are at now? Like, again, maybe it doesn't hit you guys quite as hard there, but like people videotaping in the gym. I always wonder. That's gotten really popular in Fargo. You know, people bringing like a tripod to the gym and recording themselves work out.
So that's
And it's
way
such a
too
like a
much.
little bit of an invasion of privacy, for everybody else in the gym. And I just wonder if you see that at all and how you address that with people, or is it just hasn't been an issue?
We not yet. We don't have any wannabe influencers. On the other hand, it's how teenagers are excited to post all their stuff online.
Yeah,
And
teens.
I have a group of Carrington recently started girls wrestling, and I love the new energy they bring to the sport and all of the things. And I'm training a few of them. We do some strength training like 3 times a week, and at the end, they always want to like take a selfie and stuff. Well, if these are the girls and they're going to promote your gym and stuff, like
You got it.
I
100% smart.
I jump in there and make a silly face right with them, right? Or the
Yeah.
one girl, she put her arms behind her back, and I kind of hid behind her and then put my arms out and flex. So she had man
Yeah,
arms,
Ryan
right?
arms.
That type
Yeah.
of. Yeah, I mean, but we have
Sleight of
we
hand.
have like
Trickster.
a reception area and
Yeah.
a table where you can socialize and hang out, and that's what that's for.
Okay.
And I've when I give the orientation, I even do the whole like, hey, yeah, everybody's got their phone. It's the 21st century, but like let's not be living on the phone. Like, just take
You're
care
here.
of business.
Yeah, you're here for something
Yeah,
else.
you're here. Let's do work.
Is that Casey? You got me kind of mind wandering there. I mean, how when you say it's really prevalent, I mean, how are you?
I shouldn't say really prevalent, but you're probably seeing. I would say
Like
every
every
night I
workout?
go to the
Every night?
night I go, somebody's recording at the gym, like one
Interesting.
person, 2 people.
Yeah.
Like the lights and the tripod and stuff, that's a little less common, but most people have their phone out, like talking on the treadmill, or they're talking between their lifts, and then they'll set the phone down, lift, pull it back up, talk. That's pretty common now. So I don't know. I guess it's the future, but I do think, like I said, it's a weird kind of an invasion of privacy when you're working out.
If you're
behind
just in the
them, or,
background, I suppose. Yeah.
not that I'm afraid to release my bod to the world, but it's just one of those weird things.
We need more of it.
It's a
I'm
The
gift,
world's a better
really.
place with you in it.
Yeah, I get it. Now, when you're training those gal wrestlers, are you requiring them to watch Vision Quest? Is that like day one stuff? You guys just sit
That'd
down
be
and watch
early.
that?
I love where your head's at, but that's not a day one thing. We just finished week 3, and they are as green as they come.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a
So,
perfect time to get that
we're-
soundtrack in.
It's a great
True.
soundtrack. Let's not even tease Case. We're trying to play games.
I'm sorry.
We're easing
Sorry.
into it yet.
Okay,
Yeah.
you don't need to ease into
but-
Vision Quest. Nick didn't have me dip my toes. I went full bore. Loved
Yeah.
every second.
Great.
I will give a quick shout out to them though. They are very coachable and pretty athletic, and they make my job really easy.
That's
it makes
killer.
it fun.
That's good.
We can accomplish more in an hour when you can actually hip hinge and bend over and maintain a straight back, and have enough body awareness to like, oh, I can do this with a 45-pound bar, no problem.
That's cool.
I was like,
That's
wow.
real.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna catch. I think it's gonna. I don't know when it's ever gonna necessarily peak. It's so new and so in its infancy. But like, I was just rehabbing a girl, 15-year-old sophomore volleyball player with knee pain, finishing things up. Come to find out, she hates basketball. Never loved it, but it was like the
Come on,
only
Nick.
real win.
That's not
Hold on,
true.
that wasn't.
That's
meant
not
as a-
true.
that
This isn't even a
wasn't
It
true
is.
story.
It's
It
not.
wasn't
He's
a
making
slight
this
at
up.
anybody
never
here.
listens to
He's
hip-hop.
making this
But
up.
hey,
Unreal.
Jerry, she ain't 6'8", bro. She's
I
more
hope
like
not.
she's more like 5'4", and she's pretty thick. So she's telling me, she's like, well, and she's coming from Wabasso. So anybody's familiar with the geography down here, it's like 30 miles from Marshall. She's telling me they just started girls wrestling, and her and like 2 of her friends are just stoked to come give it a try. I'm like, cool. I'm like, if you feel like and then her mom's like, oh yeah, she's always been really physical and beats up on her brothers. I'm like, that's cool, because there's like a little something for everybody that way. I think that's awesome.
And then you open that drawer on the computer on wheels and you pulled out Vision Quest on DVD and you were like,
I waited till
here you go.
I waited till the next session.
And the rest is history.
Watch
I didn't know
this.
you eased everyone into it but me. You told me to go watch that tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you familiar with Loudon Swain, the legend of Loudon Swain?
Yeah.
From Thompson High.
Better movie dad, Matthew Modine's dad in that movie, or Bill Cosby and Ghost Dad. I don't know.
Okay. I can oh boy. You're referencing Ghost Dad again?
That's a good movie. We don't talk about it enough.
How many people you and like 12 other people saw Ghost Dad?
Old classic.
It shaped my childhood, shaped my fatherhood.
Speaking of Ronnie, this might be a segue into the top 5 later, but Ronnie Cox played his dad in Vision Quest, the great Detective Bogomil from Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2. So great act. He wins that hands down case. Sorry.
Trivia for everybody.
And he I don't think he date raped anybody.
No. But he did let some random female live with his teenage son.
Hey, she was down on her luck. She broke down.
Well, lots of people are down on their luck. You don't invite them to live with your child.
There's like a handful of people listening
That's
now
true.
who've never seen the movie, and they're like, these freaking idiots. What are they talking about?
Rentals of Vision Quest go up every time we talk about it.
They should.
Redbox lets me know.
Redbox.
I'm sure they have that.
It's like dead now.
The one Blockbuster left.
The one Blockbuster in Oregon, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere. Yeah.
Airbnb that thing.
So
anyways, sidetracked. Go on.
We're kind of still going back to the building project, the layout and everything like that. You said, are you exclusively using Rogue equipment, or what are your brands that you've decided to go with?
Fitness stuff. And we bought some used equipment on auction. We've got a little of everything.
I like it.
Yeah.
Variety, spice of life.
Yeah.
It's good.
Is there like a big auction market for that stuff? Like, how do you track that down?
No, but I mean, a gym went out of business, and so we snatched up one of our favorite bikes was actually at that auction. It's a hot item.
Yeah.
Nick knows my dad.
Yeah.
Dr. J. He comes in and
J Rome. Yeah.
Yep. If anybody's on air quotes his bike, he gives them grief, in a nice way.
Does he just come in as like the cock of the walk? Like, that's my bike.
Dr. J.
My son owns this place. Get the fuck out.
No. Like, he owns this place.
I could totally see him like just being casually like dickish. Get off.
He's got like an old Carrington wrestling shirt from like 2006 tucked into his
2006. That's newer than I did.
Newer than you thought.
He's upgraded.
98.
Yeah, 98. Region 2 champs.
Nice little raccoon on there.
Is that like what is where do you go for?
Too soon?
He's going
too soon.
No, it's perfect. That's perfect.
These sons of bitches, right? Your town, idiots from your town.
Hey, quit getting off topic. No, come on.
Sorry.
What other services do you guys provide though? So you talked like kind of mainstream, but it sounds like you're doing some training. But what are you guys all offering there?
So we have a gal from the Ukraine actually living in town, super fit. Super fit.
Mm-hmm.
She looks the part, and she appears to be very.
In my mind, people from the former Soviet Union are all chiseled.
Right. So she appears to know her stuff. She just started training, and I like what she's doing. The funny part is, as much as I would love to sit down and talk shop and philosophy and methods and just pick her brain on the hows and whys of what she does, her English is a little bit subpar.
Yeah.
So I just observe, and she appears to be doing good work. We're working on getting a yoga instructor, but her husband had a little bit of an accident, and there's some recovery, and
Oh,
they got some
man.
family stuff going on.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Dang.
she'd be a fantastic addition. Um, I ran out of cedar wood for the sauna. So
You
now
did. That's right.
yeah,
You
I
were building a
did.
sauna when I was up
Yep.
there. Yeah.
Yep. So now I got to get my carpenter buddy to come trim it out and make it look pretty. And we'll have a sauna before the snow flies.
That'll be
We
nice.
actually have the other, there's another side of the building that the previous owner still has stuff in. And we're talking about providing rental spaces for businesses that would accommodate the gym. So I always joke, like, we're not going to put a Thai restaurant in there and stink the gym up like curry, as much as I would love that,
But
right?
You can't
So
make the
we've
gym
already,
for yourself. We
Just
already
saying,
I
talked
know,
yeah.
about
yep. It's
Give
not
the
my
people what they
community
want. Give
gym.
the people what they want.
That's right. So
Take a
we've had
poll.
interest in nails, tanning, massage.
dude, okay,
Um,
you're not gonna do Thai food, but nails will stink up that place.
um,
Is that a
so I
thing?
didn't know anything about that industry,
Yeah.
and I just learned that the other day. If we have a nail salon, we're gonna have to have like an exhaust system.
Totally. I've walked in
I
by
haven't had a
Michelle and
mani pedi
Maddie like
lately,
gift cards.
so
Every one I've gone to, like I'll buy for a long time. It's like nice little Mother's Day gift for Michelle and man. Lately at my daughter Maddie, she loves it too. Getting
sure.
the nails done. You walk in there, my eyes are like watering. Whatever chemicals they're all using, it's just it's raunchy. It's like, yeah, you need lots of ventilation
Yeah.
there.
I just learned that the other day.
A pleasant
So,
acetone smell.
yeah.
Pleasant, yeah.
See, he sounds like he's had his mani pedis. He knows what he's talking about.
I know the
Casey probably
science.
loves it. You
I
probably
I
love
mean,
it.
I have a
think maybe-
daughter.
I'm a
a
man
little more
of
time for me.
science.
Yeah. I don't have to dabble to know how things work.
Oh, God, we got to get you a monocle.
Yeah, he's well made.
Good.
Yeah. No,
So
that's cool to have those options. Yeah.
yeah. So it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I suppose it's like owning a home. You always have chores to do.
Never done.
It's the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah. No, that's pretty cool, man. So you got some future things in the works. Any bones, any room to grow beyond that, like in the actual gym, or are you thinking what you got is kind of what you need long term?
As far as square footage, we're all set.
Yeah.
The cool thing is up on the second floor, we have a wide open space with tall ceilings again. And the discussion was, you know, do we put apartments up there? What's the highest and best use of that space, right? And somebody had looked into that, and given there's not a lot of electrical and plumbing, et cetera, it was going to be not very cost effective.
Yeah.
So until we find like the best use of that space, we thought of like a batting cage
Oh,
and
sweet. Yeah.
having Top Golf, like
Oh.
a wrestling mat that could be used for gymnastics, wrestling, whatever. And there's enough space to set these things up and leave them up. Like you don't have to tear down the batting cage to make room for the wrestlers. So
Wow.
we can kind of section that off. And then, you know, baseball has caught, you know, North Dakota doesn't exactly have red hot baseball traditionally, but in this town it's caught on, and it's kind of a big deal. So
And people who get into it, you're right on the money. I mean, they'll travel and they'll pay to like be able to use cages in the winter,
yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
so
year round. It's such a
you know,
unique
we want to be
thing.
able to, you know, provide a space.
Totally.
Top golf would be fun.
Yeah.
That would be.
You know, I don't know if that's feasible, but
Travis
But-
Hafner to silent sponsor that, to put another statue up next to Nick.
There might not be room.
Oh, you're taking the whole thing up.
Pronk, he's gonna come second.
huh? Yeah, there's some celebrities out in that area.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that's great. I mean, we just given the, you know, thinking outside, and you got to have that vision. Like I remember going to a PPS 9 years ago, 10 years ago already, where they talked about whenever you run any, and this was very specific, like sports enhancement, injury prevention, but you gotta find a niche of the underserved groups, right? is there a group that's hungry, passionate, but like not getting what everybody else gets, you know? And if baseball's on the up and you have an opportunity to say, hey, wow, you know, you don't have to travel to, you know, we'll say Jamestown, right? Would that be the nearest batting cage, right? You don't have to, hey, you don't have to drive an hour in the month of January. If you're not a winter sport athlete and you want to prep for spring, come here, smack the ball around a little bit, right?
Yeah. One demographic, I feel like they're underserved. There is no silver sneakers program in town. So we are in the works of getting approved, which means if you're 65 or older, it is the membership is 100% free to the members, and we're reimbursed a different way. It doesn't matter, but to them it's free. So the minute we get our approval, you better believe I'm going to be getting Ethel and all of her friends into the gym, right?
Deadlifted.
And Mavis,
Oh, get them clanging and banging,
Mavis
bro.
And Ethel
Mavis loves
smashing.
cleaning. Yes.
Yeah. And now, you know, sports performance is where I got my start, and that's really exciting, and all of the things, and the kids break their own personal records. But how about, you know, the old guy who's got low back pain and say, you know, have you ever been in a car accident, been diagnosed with anything in particular? No, I just got a bad back. And it's like, I don't know if I buy that. A lot of times, a little activity and stretching and whatnot can help a lot of those ailments.
So you need to get a PT to sublease some space from you.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like you got a spot.
Yeah, you do. And so for me, improving quality of life is as fun or as important as this kid just benched 315.
Then that's right? Awesome though.
So that's the next demographic that I would love to see in there. In addition to, the old people will treat it like it's their own.
Now, am I right in thinking was it the pasta plant, or was it the pasta plant that had an insurance back in the day? I'd always hear about this in Cary, the old wellness center, the old gym that Kyle Smith owned, where they had free memberships, right? Yeah. Like the insurance would pay it, you know, the old thing. You got to go like 3 times a week, you know, every month, and then it would be fully paid. Am I right in thinking that was that the pasta plant?
It was, yes, or some version of that. Maybe they had to pay, but then they got reimbursed. There's a lot of that. So just to give you a heads up, my teenager got home. He might pop in and flex on me because
Kobe, I want to see it
literally daily. Yep.
Well, this will be on YouTube.
So be aware.
So
it'll be recorded.
He can influence for us. I mean,
there you go. Let me cut the sleeves off a CC.
Is he still rocking that like Pat Mahomes knockoff curly hair? Has he got that going on?
He's rocking it.
Love it. Good for him.
Oh, imagine that poked out of a visor, upside down and backwards.
They're back. Visors are back.
He's missing it.
That's an opportunity. You're not going to want to cover that up with a bucket hat. I'll tell you that much.
You ain't lying.
Bucket hat. No. This is
anywho.
This is great. Love catching up on the gym. I'm excited. I'm going to be back there probably sometime in October and try to catch up in person too. Hit the weights a little bit, but I can't think of a great segue right now. Like what goes? Maybe it's scary for some people to lift weights.
I was going to say, starting your own business is pretty scary.
Yes.
Not as scary as these top fivers.
Yeah.
Moving into our
tip it off, boy.
5 scariest movie villains, monsters, whatever you want to say. People can be monsters. We had that discussion. So, we'll hit it off. I think I don't necessarily care what order we go in. I'll go first. I'm speaking. Me, Jeremy, Ryan, Nick. You guys you good with that?
Okay. I'll back clean up.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yep. All right. My number 5, I would say, I'm guessing probably the least known scary thing on this list from a little known, more indie movie. It was actually a remake of, I believe, like an Australian movie. It is
Deep Cut.
The character of Paul from the movie Funny Games. Just an absolute psychopath. This
Oh.
movie, I can't say Funny Games is good, can't say it's bad, it's different. It's almost like if film students did like a experiment on what a horror movie should be, where you just kind of go against all the tropes.
Uh-huh.
And what
How
makes
old
him
is this? Like, what, you got a year on this movie? I'm not actually familiar
97
with it.
maybe?
97.
2007.
No, 2007. Okay.
It's a remake. No, it's a remake of his own 1997 film.
Okay.
So there was a 2007 and a 97.
I've only seen the 2007. Very interesting movie. It's a spin on
6.5.
Yeah, it's okay. And I think it's definitely polarizing. You either think it's kind of a cool concept or you kind of hate it because there's some fourth wall breaking. They don't do any, when he goes off, kills people, terrorizes his family. There's no scary music. It's like dead sound. So there's nothing to like up the tension, but I think he alone brings the whole tension. There's two bad guys in the movie. I think the other guy is more of like the come along guy, but Paul is, I think, a really intense, scary guy.
Sounds like a ripoff of Scream.
Not at all. Really. I'm gonna be honest. So
he said two guys. That's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah. Right. And that's like the interesting thing. Like you see these guys right away, like within minutes of the movie. There's nothing hidden. There's like no tricks. It's just them absolutely terrorizing this family, and it's just super creepy. To me, that guy scared the crud out of me that whole time watching that movie. Because I think for me, what makes a really scary movie villain is like that helplessness. Like no matter what we do, we can't win.
Yeah.
I think that to me is really
Well, it's because
scary.
they keep going into the house. Like they don't run away.
They try, Jeremy.
Why they're help.
Maybe they have reasons.
You get
Don't
bashed
trip
in the
in the
knee with a
cemetery.
baseball bat a few minutes into the movie, you ain't running very well.
Wow. Ooh,
Yeah.
okay. And so there, I didn't know there was a bat involved with this.
I think it's a bat,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, that's my number 5. Paul from the movie Funny Games. If you like scary movies, give Funny Games a watch. Hit me up at ptshoptalk@gmail. Let me know what you think because it's
I'm gonna check it out.
very polarizing movie.
Huh.
Yeah.
Fourth wall breaking doesn't that take away from like the fear though, the scariness component?
Yeah, and I think that's why it happens pretty late in the movie, where it does happen, and it's one of those moments where you're like, ugh, like man, that just sucks. Like not so much that sucks, but like takes it away from like this is finally this moment of triumph, and you're like, all right, they actually did it, and then it's like completely erased, and you're like, oh man.
Yeah.
There's just nothing you can do against these guys. So
Yeah.
it's kind of, I mean, it's almost like you could dissect it and go, is this kind of like a American Psycho situation where it's just like, man, is this just in this guy's head? Is he just psychopath dreaming this stuff up? But anyways, that's my number 5.
Yes.
We got Jer.
Yeah. I don't know if this counts as a horror movie. Probably not, but it's actually somebody from the only movie I've seen on my whole list. So it was Jack Torrance from The Shining. Probably isn't considered horror. But you say the creepy part is helplessness. I think the creepy part for me is like people that are like, I don't know how to explain this, like real, right? Like somebody that you could see in a coffee shop or something like that, and you're like, this person could go off their rocker and could be just
like your
a crazy
Jeffrey Dahmer
freaking
type.
monster.
Like your Dahmer.
Yeah. That stuff is like more creepy to me than like, oh, I was lit on fire and now I'm coming to kill you in your dreams. So
well, hey, come on now, let's be careful. I mean, that might be on somebody's list down the road.
That's a scary mother. It might be.
It might be.
I mean, there's a lot of movies made about it.
But that's my number 5.
Yeah. All right.
Some would argue alcoholism was the real monster of that movie, Jeremy.
They would.
Literally, because he was abusive before he even got out to the Overlook. Yeah.
Actually, just read the book. Worth a read, if I'm gonna be honest. I won 2 that I did Shining and Dr. Sleep back to back. It was good.
Dr. Sleep was so good.
The movie? Was the movie good too?
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing the movie was better than the book. I wasn't a big fan of the book, but
I like the book better than the movie, but just a little bit.
Here and there. All right, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got there, Ryan.
So The only reason this is at number 5 is because I bent the rules. It's not exactly a movie, but
What?
It is
go with
that's an
Oh,
asterisk already.
Asterisks already.
right.
Come on,
I'm gonna go with
Ryan.
the
God.
entire
Come on.
Upside Down.
What?
The entire Upside Down.
From like
Oh,
Stranger Things.
Stranger
From
Oh,
Stranger
Things?
Things.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Explain. What's
Yeah,
creepy about it to you?
Just a really well done for a guy who doesn't generally watch a lot of horror movies. I just thought it was really good. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't further justify it. There's probably scarier ones, but that was just
You're
a
only on 5.
great series.
You're only
So
on 5. We could go
Ease
Vecna. I
into
mean, I
it.
understand Vecna and like season 4,
Yeah.
but then again, we're kind of on a show. I mean, man, I feel like
I
I
know.
don't want to be such a
asterisk.
dick, but I'm kind of gonna be a dick. Man.
We
I mean,
allow a
this-
stretch for guests, Nick. Be cordial.
We do. We do.
I
We,
I
we
get
jumped
a
all around
little bit
last
of
week. You're right.
leeway.
We do.
Yes.
God
We'll give it-
forbid, Ryan, that was me that did that.
Oh,
These two
We hold you to a high
would
standard.
probably-
would
Casey.
never let me hear
I'd be
the
talking to Amy and I'd be like, how do we get rid of the other guy?
Yeah, I think you could just scratch it off if you try hard enough.
Put it in the dishwasher. Somebody
Like,
will
this
fall
is,
off of that.
yeah.
It's a little tough to
You-
digest.
You
Okay.
put one fictional baseball coach on a list of fictional baseball players, and they're so angry with you.
It was so bad. You did it like twice in the
Well,
same
coaches
way.
don't play.
I
don't
know. It seemed like
I-
pretty self-evident.
He was obvious a player. It's anyways, move on. That's a different topic. Ryan doesn't need to hear how petty you two are on lists.
All right. All
I
right. My
stand with
number
Ryan. Good choice.
My number 5 only existed in one movie. It was a remake of a 1950s film, and it is The Blob, the title character from The Blob.
Wow.
Watching
but
like
the remake, not the 1950s.
the
one?
1988 one with
Okay.
Kevin Dillon, the weaker Dillon brother. But just talk about like something that was like scary and kind of unstoppable, not just kind of unstoppable, but
Yeah,
anything it just
unstoppable.
like touched, it melted, including a lot of humans in that movie.
Yeah.
Total practical effect, awesome movie. And it's the Blob. Like you kind of know what you're getting into there, but
Not a lot of surprises.
super gross scenes. I mean, they really nail it in that film with the guttural punches and everything like that. So they made the Blob very imposing, and even at the end, it's like one of those crappy movies where at the end it's like not totally over because that creepy reverend guy like saved a chunk of it, and he might unleash it on the world again, for anybody who's seen it. So but
You gotta
much.
leave. Yeah.
Yeah, just in case it makes
Good
money.
choice.
Just in case. Yeah, the Blob.
Yeah, you might need to have a sequel. Well,
And I
Like
still
you think
remember-
that
wait,
dude feeds that thing then?
He
It's like,
must.
here's a
little
little
mice
chickens.
chickens first, and then eventually people.
do you think you have to feed it, or is it
Oh, I don't
like
know.
is it motivated? Is it a motivated
Is it
blob?
sentient?
Yeah, no, it's like, well, it's not sentient, but it
It's like a fungi.
yeah, but it eats. Yeah, it chases stuff. I think the worst scene is like when that dude, like if you guys ever seen it, it's like on the ceiling and that falls on a guy, and this gal like comes to go try to save him, and she grabs his arms, and the arms
just
like melt,
tear off.
like they separate, and I was like, oh man, and he's like still screaming. It's like just brutal. It's like, man, what a
I am
what a-
familiar with that scene, but
Great
I'm not
villain.
overtly familiar with the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. There's also a drive-in movie theater scene. I mean, there's some crude stuff in there. All right, moving on. Casey.
I
number
feel like you
4.
put a little baking soda on that guy, you dry right up. But
I hope so.
I don't know.
You never
It's
put
science.
salt, a bunch of
Yeah.
We're
salt.
back to the monocle again.
Little acetone on that guy. He's gone. He's gone.
Yeah,
Science.
acetone should kill anything.
Yeah.
You're
Put the
gonna
vent
want to
on.
vent it, but
Yeah,
he's dead.
you're gonna want to vent it, but he's gone ski. All right, my number 4. Again, yeah, maybe some people would argue horror movie versus not. But I would say within the series, the first one I would classify as a horror movie. It's Xenomorph from Alien.
Mhm.
Super creepy. Really scared me as a kid. I mean, the chest burster thing alone, like every time I had a tummy ache as a kid, I was like, oh God, here it comes. Never happened, Jeremy, thankfully.
Thank goodness.
But even the alien itself, is the design was creepy, slick, slimy, hid in the shadows. A lot of impending fear in that first movie. I think even the second one, when I saw it as a kid, most people would say it's obviously an action movie. But even that was kind of creepy when they're surrounding them and they don't know how they're gonna get out. There's so many of these aliens all of a sudden, like that again, impending doom. I would say that the alien queen itself never really terrified me. More just the standard aliens and then the face huggers. But yeah, that's my number 4. Cool character design.
Choice.
And
there is
sci-fi horror was so big at that time too.
I love sci-fi. That's like probably my favorite genre of horror is sci-fi. Melding those two things together.
What about sci-fi comedy?
I did.
Smaller genre.
I mean, baseball is kind of a spoof.
I'm sensing a new top 5.
Yeah, I'll dig into that one a little bit. A little meat on that bone, boys.
There's some all right ones.
But the queen scene in like the second one, that is kind of like when she's laying the eggs. When you first find her, and she's like laying the eggs. That egg sack thing's kind of gross, but
it's gross. But it wasn't like scary, and she wasn't that
too
scary.
Big.
Like
it's almost like do you guys. Is anybody else prescribed like the blob was the blob,
run
but
from her?
Everything else, like the bigger a villain is, not necessarily the better. Like I've never been afraid of like I never thought King Kong was like that crazy or Godzilla or any giant.
Yeah, because I always believed I could hide from him, right? Like, you ain't chasing ants, right? Like you haven't picked one ant out and you're like, I'm gonna murder that mother. Like that's what I would be like to Godzilla, right? Like, well, see ya. I'm just gonna hide between your tootsies, right? Like he'll never check.
Yeah. Right. See, so I'm not alone. All right, I like that. I'm validated. All right.
Yeah. Anytime.
All right. My number 4. I maybe mentioned earlier.
Was there a villain in a Care Bears movie?
Yeah, it was Dark Star.
The mud, the sludge. That was Care Bears, right? In the sludge.
Scary as hell.
No, it is Freddy Krueger.
Oh,
whoa! You were just crap talking him.
Yeah, no, that's why he's my number 4.
Why wasn't he your number 5?
Apparently,
have you seen A Nightmare on Elm Street?
Because I've seen that.
You have?
No, I haven't. No,
you've never. You've never seen A Nightmare on any of them.
I don't like being scared. Okay?
What about Freddy versus Jason?
No, haven't seen that either. No, I haven't seen any Jason movies or any. Yeah.
No, Friday the 13th.
We should do a watch along.
Nope.
So many. Friday night watch alongs.
You and Amy need to pick one just for fun. Like Michelle and I have done that a couple times where you just find like throughout October, maybe you can start in late September. It's okay. Spooky season. You just you pick like a film series and just hammer them out when you get time throughout. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, you're not going to want to do Friday the 13th. There's like 13 of them.
I can tell by the enthusiasm in his face.
I can't remember the last
because they suck so bad. They are really bad movies. When you go back,
the last one that I watched that I thought was like semi scary, like she was shit talking me and like she's like, that's not even a real scary movie. So she even like mentioned the pod. She's like, you can't use that. It's not even a scary movie. So
you were scared.
Yeah, it was Nope. It was Nope. Yeah. I'm like, this is a horror movie.
She's tough though. Your wife's hardcore, bro. If you need
it's too much true crime, man. That's probably like I said, man. That's why I'm
she's a badass chick.
Freaked out of regular people.
Muskegon County Social Services helping you. They got your back.
Keep an eye out. Keep an eye out, please.
Tormenting.
Just a drive by. I need a cop by that house every Friday.
But yeah, that's my number 4.
All right, Freddy Krueger.
Good choice. Your justification's sketch at best, but the choice is great.
I saw a movie poster once. Freaked me out.
So my number 5 had an asterisk. My number 4, I think qualifies, might come under some scrutiny. How about Nurse Annie from Misery?
Yeah, dude.
I mean,
totally.
The scene where
no
she
controversy
puts
there
between his ankles and smashes his feet with a sledgehammer is that's wild.
Yep.
Right? So that's it. I mean, the rest of the movie is just okay, but that scene, that character, that stuck with me.
You're right. Without her, that movie's probably not as good. Kathy Bates is dominant in that.
Yeah,
she was in my top 5 like movie villains in general.
Yeah, without her, it's just a guy in a cabin, Nick. It's not a great movie.
He's in a car accident, rehabbing.
Yeah.
He needs some home
That's
help.
just the story of our lives.
Crappy
Hey.
weather.
And Tom Hanks
Should
couldn't
I-
have made that movie without the volleyball.
Sure am sore
It
today.
would have been cast away in a blizzard.
That's
all it would have
true.
been. But with James Caan, which is a plus, right?
Always.
Okay, my number 4 is again a little bit, I'm not gonna say niche, maybe, but I remember again, very formidable villain in a film, and it is Ed 209 from the first RoboCop, who, if you guys remember, it's like the massive robot with the two like Gatling gun arms that they used. I think it was like a jackal or a lion's like voice for the audio, or like making all these sound effects. But they introduced it early in the film, and even though Ronnie Cox, I mentioned a little bit ago, is Vision Quest dad, he is the main bad guy in the movie. But the machine is like throughout the whole film. Again, it's formidable. It's formidable for RoboCop. You're like, how's RoboCop going to kill this thing or to stop it, right? And turns out he just got to chuck it down some stairs. So the ending,
anticlimactic.
the ending kind of sucks. But the thing murders an awful lot of people in incredibly violent ways. Paul Verhoeven is he's such a good director. Like between that and I put that in Total Recall, definitely like as an amazing 1-2 punch is like films and being really smart and satirical. I guess Starship Troopers too falls like right in that for him. But yeah, I kind of just threw it out there to be a little different, be a little edgy on my list. But again, if I'm being honest, growing up watching that movie, I was like, man, that machine is like really scary. And I don't know how RoboCop's going to get him, but he did. The good guy won.
Yeah, not bad. I don't fear technology, but teach their own. It's all right.
Yeah. Well, RoboCop was a product of technology.
Not yet. You
I
know,
wasn't afraid of him either. He was there to protect and serve.
He's a good guy.
Friend.
That's what
Yeah.
I mean, you shouldn't be afraid of RoboCop. I'm not afraid of RoboCop. I'm afraid of
Okay.
Ed 209.
Oh, well, all right. No, I get it. It creeped me out too as a kid. I totally get it. A lot of tension every time you saw that thing. Like, oh, people are gonna die.
Well, I think the very first scene of the movie is like the boardroom scene.
Yeah,
Where
that
he
poor
like
guy.
it
That
comes in
as
the
a
guy,
kid, horrifying.
Yeah, he just shoots him like
Hit
90.
Yeah. It's like a scene from Commando.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, my number 3. Finally, probably getting into some true horror monster villains here. It's Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah,
That's my number 3. Mostly based on, I would say, just the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That whole movie's creepy just because it's so raw. It really does feel like, holy crap, this is like a real movie. For like back then,
You're talking about like the original, the
horrifying.
1974 or
Correct.
whatever.
Yeah. That opening scene when they like walk into the house and you're like, oh, this is super creepy. Like, and he just slides that door open and just smashes the dude with the hammer right away. You're like, whew, this is gonna be a ride. And then he's just a creepy guy, scares the living heck out of me when they're running from him at the end. He's just like chainsawing that dude in the wheelchair. You're like, oh man, he took down the dude in a wheelchair. Like that's not nice. Like that's real bad guy stuff, right? Like
it's bad guy
yeah,
stuff.
It is bad guy stuff.
like, geez, man, like, he's had it pretty rough. Like the chainsaw to the chest was unnecessary. So yeah, he's super bad guy, creepy, scary. I mean, the mask, the whole thing. The noises, the inbred nature, the whole family's creepy, obviously.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, it's like there's a little bit of that to spread around for sure.
yeah,
Great choice, holy
for
cow!
me, just a scary ass dude. So
talk about a movie like when you go back to that original. Like I don't know if there's another movie where you get done watching it, and you just feel dirty. Like,
yeah, for sure.
The movie's dirty and
great way to put it.
And
like
you guys
felt
are
like
you're confirming my dislike for horror. Like
confirmation bias.
Yeah,
yeah,
you're confirming it.
You're right, Nick. You feel like you were in that movie, like you're dusty and like you were running through a wheat field. And yeah, the movie does a great job. I mean, it's still like you said, old movie, but man, I think it holds up to me.
Yep.
For scary old movies, that one holds up.
Sometimes that's the best, like the lowest budget, practical effect stuff. That's
I mean,
because it looks real.
I think back, a lot of those movies later, the 80s things became cheesy because they were over the top. But like that movie, the special effects seemed real enough, There wasn't scenes where you're like, you took me out of it because it's too unrealistic. I mean, hanging the lady on the meat hook. I mean, that like, oh, man.
Yeah. Everything's awful in that. And then the remakes just like tried to take it up 10,000 notches.
Too much.
Gross you out. Yeah. Yeah.
We got Jeremy.
Jerry. No Texas Chainsaw Leatherface.
My third. No, actually, that was one on the list where I'm like, that guy seems really scary. So, but I didn't put. Yeah, it's really bad.
We gotta delve into stuff you've seen. Like, what have you seen? What scares you? Let's get into psyche.
So you showed me the trailer for this when the remake came out, and I put Pennywise from It. I remember you showed me in the clinic. You're like, "Oh, look at this!" And I was like scared the whole rest of the afternoon.
Nick, I gotta go home sick.
Freaking evil shape-shifting clown. I mean, man,
cancel my afternoon.
So, yeah.
So you're going Pennywise.
Yep, Pennywise. Yeah.
That's your number 3?
Yeah.
Did you ever end up seeing the films at all?
No. I told you I haven't watched anything on this list.
Scariest movie trailer.
You think you could read a scary book, Jeremy?
I don't know, maybe.
Maybe you should start there. Dip your toes.
I don't know, Jeremy. Theater of the mind is worse than some stuff you see on TV.
I wouldn't recommend starting with it if you're going to read a scary book, but little too big.
I'll get a
little too dense.
A reading list maybe to start out with. So.
I'll send you some hits in the mail.
All right. Good.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
So good.
Maybe I'll just bring some to PPS. You can have a little library.
I don't know. My bags are pretty full already, so I don't know if they'd make
Don't worry.
Heavy over the weight limit.
I'll throw your undies out. Hampton boys. We don't need them anyways.
We're on the top. We're on number 3, Ryan.
As another guy who doesn't enjoy the horror genre as much, how about when Baxter disappears in Anchorman? That is right. I'm seeing Nick absolutely lose it right now. That was a joke. And I'm going to go with Jason Voorhees.
All right. Do you have is there a particular one that stands out?
I don't even know the title, but there is a dude boxing on top of the building, and he's absolutely wailing away on Jason.
We watched that when we were kids. Jason Takes Manhattan. Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
And he punches his head off.
When Jason finally decides to swing back, he takes his entire head off.
Yes.
Like, I mean, skitters down the side of the building.
Yep.
Or lands in the dumpster and the dumpster closes.
Yeah. So I've all kinds of. I mean, that scene stands out, but Jason
it's a bad
and
movie.
Machete and his,
it's awful.
Yeah. Indestructible ways.
I respect you because I do remember us watching those as kids. Like it's like the thing. Like if Nick was going to have a birthday party, we were going to rent some scary movies and we were going to watch them and that movie sucks though. God, the 8th one's bad, the 7th one's bad.
I was gonna say, I think that's the second worst Friday the 13th.
They're
Jason X bad. Being the worst. I would say.
Jason X is bad. That's like
sci-fi horror. That's
like
right
they're like trying to make it. Yeah. It's an insult to it.
I'd say Leprechaun in Space, better sci-fi horror than Jason X.
I probably have to go Leprechaun in Space. Like ahead of that. My number 3's already been said. I went with Xenomorph from the Alien movie, but I was kind of torn here because I almost think, to me, the face hugger, and I know we're getting into semantics here and stuff like that. The face hugger is like a little scarier because the idea of something like getting on you and like implanting something in you that you don't want. That's not cool. Not cool ever, right?
Horrifying.
And yes, horrifying. Scary. You are correct. But the Xenomorph has more screen time and spends a lot of time lurking. Has a great jump scare scene with Tom Skerritt in the vent shaft where he's trying to seek it out. Obviously, kills more people. Good intensity at the end. So I'm going to go with Xenomorph. I'm going to stick with that one. Casey also nailed some other points to it, but Xenomorph from, I'll say, the first Alien.
Great choice. Can't argue. All right, my number 2 already been said, and it is Freddy Krueger. I would either have to go with Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one, or Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I think either of those he's super creepy in.
I like what you did there. Yeah.
You know, definitely the first one. I think just the idea of like you can't go to sleep, like you're vulnerable in your dreams, and again that impending doom. Like when you're in the nightmare world, there's no way you're gonna beat this guy. You know, yeah, like there's dream warriors that are strong in the dream world or whatever, but that was like a convention of the movie to make it realistic. But like for me as a kid, that was absolutely horrifying. I didn't want to go to sleep for a while after seeing that movie. I just and the murders were just gruesome, especially like the first two. You know, they weren't realistic, but they weren't goofy. They weren't ham like the later ones become.
There's some brutal one, like but there's a mix in the later ones where some of them are hammy, like he's kind of hammy, and then some are just brutal. Just like like the dude on the motorcycle in the fifth one. That one's awful.
Yeah. And then New Nightmare, I think, becomes, it's more of that like Scream realistic where he really is just a murderer. There's almost none of that tongue-in-cheek humor behind him. I mean, when he skins the girl alive in the real world in front of that other girl, I mean, that's like, that's a brutal scene.
Rough.
Yeah. So that's Freddy Krueger, number 2.
Freddy Krueger. Good choice. Jeremy.
All right, guys. My number 2 has already been said. Actually, my final 2 came down to masks for me.
Okay. Yeah.
So my number 2 is Jason. Man, that hockey mask was pretty creepy. I can't imagine if you saw somebody like that getting ready to kill you. I think that would be pretty scary. So
pretty
that's my rationale. I think the mask would be scary to be killed in. So
yep, very much so.
Hard to argue.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll leave. Yeah.
Mic drop.
I'm gonna take some grief on this one, and it's very well deserved.
Okay.
But I have a strong justification for Pennywise. The original was absolutely terrifying.
Tim Curry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that I haven't watched the new one, and I probably won't. True story. I don't. That's it.
Well,
You
know what grief? Nobody's giving you grief.
That's
safe. This is safe space.
I don't buy that.
Yeah, it's not like you pick some TV show that you use them as the villain. That would have been, arguably ridiculous. But
you're going surely off of movie trailers or movie posters.
Yeah, that's questionable.
Oh man, scary mask.
Picking a villain whose whole thing is picking on your greatest fears. That's appropriate.
Yeah. I mean, fantastic. That was your number 2?
That's my number 2.
Yeah. The Tim Curry version, Pennywise, which is very and that holds up. That there's no shame in that one at all. My number 2 is also a masked villain, and it's the first time he's mentioned on here, fellas. It is Michael Myers. And I feel like a shit here. I deserve an asterisk because I couldn't narrow it down to just one movie.
Because they're the same in every movie.
Pretty much. And it's the fact he doesn't say anything ever. I like that.
One speed.
And he's pretty much one speed. They do ratchet up kind of the brutality as they move through it. Like first one's actually like just more pure suspense, right? John Carpenter
behind the bush.
Classic. Yeah. He's
in the closet.
He's like, I'm not behind the bush. And then,
yeah.
He gets stopped with a coat hanger for crying out loud. I mean, it's like pretty docile. And then by the second one, they're already like, no, we're gonna start really graphically murdering people, because slasher films are now like really taking off. But Michael Myers, the epitome of evil. Great, good guy too, right? Like the doctor, he's awesome in there. Kind of in building, he's awesome in building up the villain, right? Through the dialogue. Like this kid, he was evil as a child, he was evil forever, and he's never going to be stopped, right?
Yeah, I think for me, like Mike Myers and Jason are very similar vein. of like
Yeah.
bad guy, big giant unstoppable force. But I would agree, Mike Myers to me, if you're gonna pick one of those two, I think way creepier. He was a real person,
Mhm.
there's that factor. Jeremy loves that, Jason was obviously supernatural, and I think
A lot
the
more.
movies did a better job of building tension with Mike Myers than they did. Jason was more jump scare, brutal murder, move on to the next scene.
Yeah.
Nudity,
Do it
you're
again.
dead. Nudity, you're dead. Run,
Yep.
run, run.
Out of
Hit him
that.
with a propeller and he's dead. End scene. Right.
Yep.
Or Mike
And then
Myers,
he'd get
It was-
stopped. I mean, it was comical for a while there. If you go back retroactively to like watch retrospectively, I should say, and watch like the Halloween series and we'll watch like Friday the 13th. And like they were like he stopped. These guys are stopped at the end of every movie, but it's just so silly. It's like because they only find a way to come back in the next one.
Oh yeah, eat the heart, come back.
That's awful. The Jason one. That's just stupid.
It's so good. All right, we're moving on to numero ones, right?
It's big time, baby.
Yeah, my number one's already been said.
Does anybody
and-
have an honorable mention they want to throw out?
A million of them.
I mean, am I
got
bending the rules too much again?
No,
Ooh.
not at all. We've gone back and tossing some. I got David from The Lost Boys, played by Kiefer Sutherland.
That's a good one.
Ooh, well done.
Tasty lick.
I love the creature from Tremors. That's a fun movie.
Awesome. Yeah, I
That's a
love that
good one.
too. The
I've
worm.
seen Tremors.
That did creep
You've
me out.
seen Tremors.
That was scary.
Yeah.
That's a valid point, Ryan. That didn't make my honorable mention list, but as soon as you said it, I'm like, that. There was a time as a kid where I would jump from like thing to thing outside.
Yeah.
Don't
Like
touch
you
the
were
floor.
Kevin
Don't
Bacon.
touch the floor.
Yeah, I didn't want to make
The
vibrations.
original, the floor is lava.
Yeah,
It was.
Yeah.
A very clever setup too. Like, don't make any noise, right?
yeah. And them grabites were. Is that what they were called? Coming right
Graboid.
through at you.
Graboid.
Graboids.
I guess they made like. Did I hear that right? Like, I think they made like 10 of them.
Yeah,
Did they
I
really?
believe that.
But
I think I
really
stopped
only
after the
first-
third one
I thought there was only 3. Yeah.
when they had the little legs and they were walking. That
Check
one,
it out.
like,
Look it up. They
like,
made.
they
I bet you
were
they made.
worse.
Okay, maybe not 10. They made at least 8. I'll bet. And they're
You know-
all like straight to DVD and then straight to streaming now. Like,
Here's an interesting one,
Like
and we've
Jamie
talked.
Kennedy, right? Jamie Kennedy is like taking over that thing.
That's weird. What's Kevin Bacon doing? You think he'd still be working on those?
He's busy.
Yeah, is he? Yeah, I almost pulled a Jeremy. I'm not a big Hellraiser guy, but I almost put Pinhead on here just based on like just
He's a
knowing
tweener
of it.
though. Isn't he
Creepy.
kind of a
There's
tweener?
7
There's
Tremors.
seven Tremors.
And a couple of TV shows, it looks like.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Balls.
Ryan's neighborhood there.
Let's check it out, Ryan.
Yeah. Put it on number
I'll check it
6.
out. Report
Yeah,
back.
that's why you put it on there.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Pinhead's good, but he's like a tweener. They made him kind of like too sympathetic by the second one already. Like he's not really a villain anymore by that point. But the other guys were. The chick was.
Mhm.
She was terrible. Lots of
Yeah, what are
terrible
they
stuff
called?
in Hellraiser.
Cenobites?
Yeah.
They were all kind of creepy. They became kind of goofy later too, but hence as the way horror goes.
Huh.
Also, I would say the puppets from Puppet Master also scared me, even though they were like good guys for the most part. Like, I don't know.
Such silly shit. Silly
Yeah.
bullshit.
And then again, based on movie poster alone, Ghoulies, the movie Ghoulies
Solid.
with the freaks through the toilet.
Never want to sit on a toilet.
Yeah, right. That alone, that cover of that movie
Oh.
alone scared
Okay.
me from like just sitting on a toilet without looking first.
The cat in Pet Cemetery. It's a shitty cat. The little boy in Pet Cemetery.
Oh yeah, creepy for sure.
Good little 1-2 punch.
All right. We good enough on honorable mentions?
Brian,
About
did you have
number
one?
one?
Did you have one? You
yeah,
had Tremors.
did you have
Ryan?
one?
That was
Tremors.
Tremors. The worms. Okay.
Let's go. All right, my number one. Yeah, it's no surprise probably to a long time listeners of the pod. This has been on lists already. It's Pennywise, and I would also go with the original. Just creepier, more realistic. We talk about those, real special effects versus computer graphics. I think it was just creepier. I think it did a great job of, again, we talk about creating fear. Like Pennywise made me afraid of clowns, made me afraid of basements, right? Made me afraid of abandoned houses. Like hit a lot of things for me. Like created
Afraid
a
of
lot
red
of fears.
balloons.
Like
Yeah.
holy, like I still don't
Don't
like
chase that.
clowns to this day.
Yeah.
You know, whereas I can be around people in hockey masks, doesn't bother me at all. Burn victims, I'm okay around them, right? Like nobody else on this list. Now, if I saw a man wearing another man's face, I'm probably still afraid. So like Leatherface and Pennywise, probably the two folks that have hung with me the longest. So
yeah,
that's my number one, Pennywise, the dancing
Awesome.
clown.
hard to beat old Pennywise / it, whatever. Yeah.
All right, my number one. Again, this came down to masks. And it was Michael Myers.
Right.
Man, that's a creepy mask.
Old William Shatner.
Yep.
And you know, again, I did know that he was like a real character, right? Like versus like a made up evil in your dreams type of a thing.
Yep.
But you mentioned the Northern Peninsula.
That's what they call it.
He
The
did
NP.
call it North the NP. Everybody's always
Everybody calls it the NP.
Man, like that's why real people freak me out. Amy's listening to this true crime podcast right now about a lady that killed somebody in the UP.
Great.
Not the Northern Peninsula.
Glad we stayed there last
I've heard
summer.
it both ways.
Loved it.
She killed this guy, and then they fed him to their neighbors at a barbecue. That stuff happens.
What did the neighbors say? Was that a good barbecue? Did they mention?
Like
somebody made a comment
about
somebody made a comment about
right, and she's like, actually, there's sloppy Jerry's.
The color of the meat, and the guy was like, "Yeah, no, I'm just really into grilling exotic meats." And I mean, can you imagine not knowing that and then eat? Like I ate. Oh man, that to me is way scarier than a evil shape-shifting clown or somebody that murders you in your dreams. There's those people out there.
Eric Cartman on the list.
Yeah, Eric Cartman did that to Scott Tenorman's parents.
Yeah.
Very
chili.
Chili con
Taste the tears.
That wasn't quite as scary.
So,
that didn't get
Amy, are you sure Amy is just not watching episodes of South Park? That was great. I'd watch what it was.
I'll double check with her.
You just verify with her.
That's probably what it was.
Double check just to be safe.
But anyways, yeah, my number one's Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Numero uno.
Number one.
I can't take credit for this. It's something that Neil deGrasse Tyson said, and it's like one of those things you can't unlearn. Like they just made an excellent point, and that's it. So like here on Earth, we have so much diversity, from jellyfish to oak trees to giraffes, and that's all on one planet.
Yeah.
So if you're going to make like an alien, it's got to be something completely different, wild, just different than anything we know.
Yeah.
So who had the Blob at number 5? Yeah. I'm going to go with that just for its uniqueness.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're going with the Blob at number 1.
I'm going with the Blob at number 1.
The Blob was nasty.
5-to-1 jump. I like that.
Yeah.
The Blob was nasty.
So
I love sci-fi horror. When you asked for honorable mentions, I know I got carried away with we got into Tremors. Tremors, good series, good movie, maybe not a good series.
Yeah.
Good honorable mention for me was also sci-fi horror. I've named it The Thing. The Thing was a great horror movie.
That's not your number one, huh?
I'm at number 1. I'm sorry, I'm so generic.
Didn't even make
here,
your
but
list.
if I'm being intellectually honest with myself, he's been said here. It has been said, and I think wins the title because I'm in between both series, the original with Tim Curry, Ryan, you nailed it. Like both. I know Casey, I know you love that original. I do too. That's creepy as hell.
I hated the trailer.
Friggin' made for TV movie. I mean,
6
go
hour
back like
movie.
1990. They're like, we'll just spit this out for a couple nights, and kids will love it, right?
Yeah, right. That's what we did. We sat around the TV.
Their little boy got killed. Like it's just freaking scary stuff. And the remake, I might be unique here. I enjoy it as a film better. I think that they're better made.
I would agree with you. They're better movies for sure.
I think he's got. I think is it Andy Muschietti, the director, like whatever. But I think he's got some good skills. And the thing is, I've mentioned this before. I think we talked about King, but he's just not. The thing that gets to me is he's not afraid to go after kids, right? Which is off limits in so much other material. But he's like he'll push that, and man,
He knows
that's
it's creepy, man.
it's creepy, and they're the ones who are the most vulnerable, right? And any scene, it's sad because pretty much any scene outside of the losers club, anytime you see a scene with like one kid with Pennywise or it's like they're gone. You got to know it, like that impending doom thing we talked about.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, it's just a matter of time.
that's the only scene from the new one where I was like, that was a good scene. It was like when the little girl's under the bleachers.
Oh my god, that's awful.
That scene's creepy. Like that.
It's giving
That
me
scene
goosebumps right
is
now. Make my hair stand up.
right up there
scene.
with
I hate
anything
that
from
scene.
the original for me. But
She's
the rest
so
of it
sweet.
didn't do it. But that scene is
No.
like, oof. Because like you said, she's gone.
Yep.
And he's so sweet to her, and she's so sweet to him. And just like, and I think that's why the new one's so much better than the old one, just from a movie standpoint, because the child actors are so much better. I mean, those kids nail it, and that little girl nails that innocence of like, I don't talk to strangers, like, you should probably run. So
and then he gets the other kid in the mirror house later on.
Mhm.
I mean, that's like normally the kids always get away, right? At the nick of time.
Right.
But not in that film, man.
a lot of them bite it. So
it's it. Well, great list. I think, right, if we did math, you'd have to say like, if you did a point system, Pennywise has to come away
It
like
was the winner.
Pennywise.
Then Mike Myers probably.
Mike Myers up there. Xenomorph got a couple shout outs. Bob got a couple shout outs. I love that, Ryan. Thank you so much for coming back on. Any shameless promotion, cheap plugs you wanna throw out right now before we call it?
Oh boy. I mean,
what's the official name of your gym? Where
if you ever find yourself in Carrington, you can come to Central City Wellness Center on Main Street.
What's your view of the Chieftain from there?
Not great, but it's a straight shot. Easy commute. Easy commute. Yep.
Okay. So you can get across the street from a perfect angle.
You have 2 stop signs between me and the Chieftain.
Okay.
All right. It's glass half full right there.
Yeah, definitely. Love it, brother.
Bad.
Hop, skip, and jump away.
Thanks for having me back.
Our pleasure as always.
Always.
Terrific.
So yeah, we'll wrap up episode 60. Thanks everybody for listening. Hit us up at ptshoptalk@gmail.com. You want to comment on lists? I've been putting polls up on who likes our best lists lately. So when you're checking us out on Spotify, make sure you vote on those lists. Yeah, check us out. I one vote for Nick's list. I know who that was.
Just saying.
Yeah, check us out Facebook. Hit us up on YouTube. We post all these videos up. Check out our ugly mugs. See my doggy. He like ate an entire ball of string during this episode, so I'm gonna pay for that later. Until next time, I'm Casey Hansen. With me as always, Nick Doling, Jeremy Van Klompenberg, and special guest today, Ryan Zink. Thanks everybody.